Hi, this is your personal storyteller. Thank you for checking out my channel. This channel is all about different stories that will sure to pique and intrigue your interests in different genres. I hope you enjoy the story I have prepared for you today. Beneath the Quiet Sky.
Chapter 3: Fractures. Winter arrived early that year. By November, frost covered the streets each morning and the trees stood bare against pale skies. Elena settled slowly into life back home. She helped care for her mother during the day, cooked dinner with Noah at night, and sometimes walked with Ethan after sunset. People in town noticed. Small towns always noticed everything. One afternoon, Elena entered the grocery store and overheard two women whispering near the produce section. She came back for him. No, she came back because her mother's dying. Still, imagine leaving someone like Ethan Carter. Elena abandoned her basket and walked out before tears could reach her eyes. She found herself outside the old theater downtown. The marquee lights were dark now, closed permanently. She remembered sitting there with Ethan during their senior year, sharing popcorn while dreaming about impossible futures. "You okay?" she turned. Ethan stood behind her holding two paper cups of coffee. "People still talk too much here," she muttered. He handed her a cup. "They talked too much when we were teenagers too. That never bothered me before." "It does now because you came back carrying guilt." Elena stared at him. "You make it sound simple." "It is." Ethan looked toward the abandoned theater. "But punishing yourself forever won't change the past." She laughed quietly. "You sound like a therapist." "My students say the same thing." Elena blinked. "Students? I teach literature at the high school." The image startled her somehow. Ethan smiled faintly. "You look surprised." "I just imagined you doing something more dramatic." "I wanted stability." Something in the way he said it made Elena ache. She wondered how much instability she had brought into his life. That night, Margaret wandered out of the house while everyone slept. Elena woke at 2 in the morning to Noah shouting downstairs. "Mom!" Panic exploded instantly. They searched the neighborhood in freezing rain while Richard called the police. Elena's hands shook violently as she ran toward the river bridge. Please let her be okay. Please. Then she saw a familiar figure near the benches beside the park. Margaret sat quietly beneath a street lamp wearing only a thin sweater. Elena rushed toward her. "Mom!" Margaret looked up in confusion. "Oh," she whispered, "I was trying to find my way home." Elena wrapped her coat around her mother's shoulders and held her tightly. "You are home." Margaret frowned slightly. "No," she said softly. "Home used to feel different." The words shattered Elena completely. Back at the house, the doctor explained that Margaret's condition was progressing faster than expected. She'll eventually need full-time supervision. Richard looked exhausted. Noah rubbed both hands across his face. Elena felt helpless. Later, she stood alone in the kitchen staring blankly at the sink. Ethan appeared quietly in the doorway. "Noah must have called him. She's asleep now," he said gently. Elena nodded once. Then suddenly she broke. Tears came violently and without warning. "I can't do this," she whispered. Ethan crossed the room immediately. "Yes, you can. She doesn't even recognize me half the time." He held her carefully while she cried against his chest. "I already lost 12 years with her," Elena said brokenly. "And now I'm losing the rest too." Ethan closed his eyes. "There's no perfect way to say goodbye to someone you love." The grief in his voice caught her attention. Elena pulled back slightly. "What happened?" Ethan hesitated. Then he looked away. "My mother died 3 years ago." Elena stared at him. "Noah never told me. It happened quickly." Pain shadowed his expression. "Cancer." Elena felt another wave of guilt crash over her. She wasn't there, not for him, not for anyone. "I'm sorry," she whispered. Ethan smiled sadly. "You say that a lot, because I mean it." But she couldn't say the words aloud. A week later, Elena found an envelope tucked inside her mother's dresser drawer. Written across the front in faded ink were the words, "For Elena." Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a letter written years earlier. "My dearest Elena, if you are reading this, it means I may no longer remember how to say the things I need to tell you. You spent your whole life believing strength meant carrying pain silently. You learned that from your father, but love is not silence. Love is staying. I know why you left, and I know you blamed yourself every day afterward. But sweetheart, people make mistakes when they are frightened. Do not spend your life punishing yourself for being human. If Ethan is still in your heart, tell him. If your father asks for forgiveness, listen. And if you still dream of becoming a writer, then write. Life becomes very short before we are ready. Love, Mom. Elena cried for nearly an hour. That evening, she confronted her father on the porch. Why didn't you stop me? Richard looked startled. When I left, she continued. Why didn't you come after me? His expression hardened with regret. Because I was proud. Elena laughed bitterly. Pride ruined this family. Yes, Richard admitted quietly. It did. For once there was no anger between them, only sadness, only truth, and perhaps that hurt even more.
That is the end of this chapter. Check out the other chapters on my channel. Thank you for watching.